We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So that is the latest message from the Guthrie siblings to the abductors in the case of their missing mother. And so let's go back through the timeline of the various messages. That was the third message. The first message came out on February 4th when it was nearly 4 minutes long. And as you'll recall, it was all three of the Guthrie siblings sitting at a sofa talking about their mother. They urged the abductors to make contact and directly addressed their mother, trying to humanize her. Then the very next day, there was another message. This was a shorter one at about 20 seconds long. Only son Cameron spoke, and he continued to ask the abductors to make contact, indicating that maybe they were not sure whether or not they had even had any sort of line of communication whatsoever. And then the latest was what came out yesterday evening, February 7th. That message was about 20 seconds long. Only Savannah spoke, and which they very clearly agreed to pay ransom and directly address the abductors, but not Nancy herself. So let's bring in Pat Diaz, former homicide detective. Great to have you with us this morning. Thank you for joining us. What do you make of this latest message?
Well, they need to poke the bear, as I say, because clearly from the first email that they sent out, there was going to be no further communication with the family. So at least they're letting them know that we're really ready to pay and move forward. And I think they're trying to get them to acknowledge that. The captors also know the FBI is involved. So it's a win-win or no-win situation,
right.
Depending if they decide to answer.
Yeah, it kind of a dual purpose, but I like your description is about poking the bear. And honestly, when I first heard that message, saw that message, my heart sank a little bit because it seemed like it was almost a last-ditch, desperate message of sorts.
Well, the initial email said, this is the last communication you're going to have. This is the details. This is what you need to do. I think they're doing the right thing by saying, okay, we're ready to negotiate. We're ready to pay. Let's move forward.
So throughout these messages, there has been an effort to humanize Nancy, obviously. And, we've been talking on the couch this morning, as Rachel brought up the important point about wanting to bring Nancy back to celebrate with her. What do you make of that interesting turn of phrase?
Basically, the family wants to bring her home. And now we're facing a time restraint. Monday's the deadline. So they have to do something to see if they will react to the latest message that they sent out.
So how does that deadline work? What do you expect to see? Will we see anything happen at that deadline?
Well, there's instructions in there that says where they can send the money. So they have two options. They can send the money and be hopeful, or they can hope that to see if they communicate with the abductors. I think these people will not communicate. I think this is a professional group, and they, from the onset, said, we're not communicating. Here's the instructions, pay, or that's it.
Why do you think that this is a professional outfit?
Well, from the way the abduction happened, remember, the area is dark. You know they're going to have 3 to 4 people involved. The way the note was written was done very professionally. Dealing with Bitcoin, not everybody in this country knows how to deal with Bitcoin, knows how to deal with IP addresses to hide where you're at, knows how to open an account where you're able to obtain money. This is not somebody that just off the street that's able to, kidnap somebody and say, okay, pay us a ransom. This is a well-planned kidnapping, and unfortunately, they understand how to play the game, and they know the FBI is involved, so it's a cat and mouse game with the FBI.
So authorities have said that the two messages that we believe come from the abductors came from different IP addresses, but the same server. What does that tell you?
What happens with an IP address, they put it in, and it goes around the world before it even gets to the like TMZ. They may hit North Korea, they may hit Moscow, then they may hit South Florida. So the server is going to be the same, but where it's coming from is where it's the hard part to track it down.
Do you feel confident that those people are the people that have abducted Nancy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, Pat Diaz, thank you so much for joining us and breaking it down for us.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.